sometimes we answer questions with just, you know, yes or no or whatever we think people want to hear. It's just kind of a casual comment. It doesn't really mean much of anything. Like people say, "How are you?" "Oh, I'm fine." "You doing good?" "Yeah, yeah, I'm good." Um, but it doesn't really mean that much. But in language learning, when you're learning another language, you have to be really careful that when you answer a question, that you know what the question is and that you give a really sincere, honest answer to the question. There can be a tendency if we don't understand something to just say yes. Well, I learned the hard way that that's not a good idea, especially when you're working in a second language. When we lived in Haiti, I needed a gallon of paint. So I went with, but I wasn't, it was early on while we were there, I wasn't really very fluent in Haitian Creole. So I went to the hardware store and had a Haitian man along with me who could explain what I wanted and help me to buy the can of paint. So we talked to the man at the counter and told him what we wanted and then he was writing up the bill of sale and he was getting everything ready. We were going to pay him and then he asked me a question and I didn't really understand the question. So um, I just said yes. And then he walked away. He seemed pretty happy and he walked away. And the Haitian man that was with me said to me, "Did you understand his question?" And I said, "Not really." And he said, "Well, if you don't understand a question, don't say yes." He said, "Do you know what he asked you?" I said, "No, I don't." He said, "He asked you if you want him to carry it out to the car for you." And you said yes. And he's going to charge you for that. You're going to have to pay him for carrying that. It's 1 gallon of paint. We're two people. We're two able-bodied men. We won't have any problem carrying a gallon of paint out to the car, but you just agreed that he should carry it out to the car for you, and now you're going to have to pay him for that. I didn't know that. He said, well, when somebody asks you a question and you don't know what the question was, don't say yes. It's safer to say no. So I said, okay, I think I learned a lesson, and I did. So, especially in the second language, if you don't understand the question, don't say yes. That's not a good idea. It's safer to say no. But even then, that might not be a good idea. You might be in as much trouble. The best thing is if you don't understand the question is to say, I didn't understand the question and not say yes or no.